Hyvää huomenta ja tervetuloa tähän Nokian lehdistötilaisuuteen. Good morning and welcome to this Nokia press conference. My name is Maija Taimi and I'm from Nokia Communications. Before we start, a few remarks on the practicalities. The press conference includes presentations and in the end, a questions and answers session for the audience here in Dipoli. The conference will be webcast globally and it will be held in English. Muutama sana tähän lehdistötilaisuuden alkuun. Tilaisuus sisältää esityksiä johtajiltamme ja lopussa on mahdollisuus esittää kysymyksiä täällä Dipolissa. Lehdistötilaisuutta voi seurata suorana Nokian nettisivuilla ja tilaisuuden kieli on englanti. I would like to begin by welcoming the Nokia chairman and the interim CEO of Nokia, Risto Siilasmaa.
Thank you, Maija, and good morning, everybody. I have been an entrepreneur for most of my life, and that is how I think of myself. For me, entrepreneurship is not a profession, it is a way of life. Being an entrepreneur means aspiring to build products that change the world. Selling businesses is not nearly as cool, but sometimes it is the right course of action. Like most entrepreneurs, I have gone through a lot of different phases in my career. And it is clear that this has been the most complex decision I have ever been involved in making. This transaction makes all the sense rationally, but emotionally it gets complicated. Rationally, it is clear that the smartphone market is undergoing fundamental change, and in this dynamic market, Nokia has done great work in creating innovative products. However, the industry is becoming a duopoly, with the leaders building significant financial momentum at a scale not seen before, while many established players have disappeared or face difficult choices. Even as people who try a Lumia usually quickly fall in love with the device, it does require a significant investment to drive large numbers of people to try a new experience. These investments are now significantly higher than ever before. Where do those required investments come from? With all these dynamics, it's evident that Nokia alone does not have the resources to fund the required acceleration across mobile phones and smart devices, especially as we have great opportunities in our other businesses as well. We cannot expect other device vendors to significantly invest as Nokia has grown to dominate the Windows Phone ecosystem. Microsoft does have the resources, but they lack a business model that allows them to gain an improved return on significant incremental investment. If Microsoft would have to invest $20 to sell one more device and would earn $10 in license fees as a result, there is no incentive to invest. The Nokia board has been evaluating and analyzing all imaginable strategic alternatives since Microsoft announced a deeper focus on the hardware business in June 2012 by introducing the Surface tablet, heralding a tectonic shift in the broader Windows ecosystem. During these past months of analysis, Nokia has learned that in today's market, the best opportunity for the device business to prosper is to be tightly aligned with the operating system and the associated ecosystem and cloud services. After Steve Ballmer called me in February 2013 to have an open dialogue around a possible acquisition, we greatly intensified this work. Before engaging in structural discussions with Microsoft, we insisted on an in-depth joint review of the current business relationship. We had to first fully understand whether there was a way to change the current partnership in a manner that would allow both companies to separately win in the smart devices market. We spent significant time working out potential incremental improvements before concluding that it was acceptable to engage in a discussion regarding a transaction. The Nokia board and its subcommittees have convened almost 50 times since the beginning of this year. Most of that extra effort has been focused on understanding how to maximize value creation for Nokia shareholders around our devices business. During the months of exhaustive review and analysis, we gained a clear understanding of the different alternatives and, more importantly, of their expected economic value to Nokia shareholders. With this, we decided on the right path forward. Nokia's board of directors decided to enter into a transaction whereby Nokia will sell substantially all of our devices and services business, and we will license patents to Microsoft. The Nokia board of directors believes that this transaction creates significant economic value to our shareholders. We expect it will be significantly accretive to earnings. It will clearly strengthen our financial position, and it will provide a solid basis for future investment in Nokia's continuing businesses. For our employees in devices and services who would transfer to Microsoft, they will have a stronger financial backing to be successful in the mobile marketplace. And Finland becomes a core base for Microsoft in Europe. It is worth stressing that as a result of the agreement today, instead of one Nokia, there will be two global technology companies in Finland, both financially stronger and capable to invest in the future. This can be an important accelerator in the broader Finnish economy. For all these reasons, we came to the conclusion that this transaction creates more value for Nokia than could otherwise be realized. The Nokia team has established a third smartphone ecosystem and demonstrated a pattern of growth in Lumia devices. The unique designs and colors, leading location-based services, and the amazing imaging technologies have all differentiated Lumia and made it stand out. Nokia's mobile phones serve hundreds of millions of customers worldwide. Asha is delivering new innovation to lower price points, and the teams will continue this work, creating great lower-price mobile products. And this remarkable work, of which we are all very proud, will gain new momentum as it moves to Microsoft. Over the last several months, I have come to know one of the Microsoft leaders who has shaped Microsoft to what it is today. He will be closely following and supporting the work in smart devices and mobile phones, and spending much more time here in Finland. I'd like to ask him to join me on stage. Please, Steve. Welcome to Finland.
Thanks. Thanks very much, Risto. Thank you. Well, thanks very much to Risto. It has certainly been a great honor and privilege for me over the last several months to get to know Risto and a number of other of the Nokia leaders so much better. We're very excited to bring the best mobile device efforts of Microsoft and Nokia together. Our Windows Phone partnership over the last 2.5 years has yielded incredible work. The stunning Lumia 1020 is perhaps the finest example of that work. Our partnership has also yielded incredible growth. In fact, Windows Phone has grown over 78% in the last year and is now clearly the number 3 offering in the marketplace. And sales of Nokia Windows Phones have gone from literally 0 2 years ago to 7.4 million units in the most recently reported quarter. Now's the time to build on this momentum and accelerate it further. Later today, during our press and investor call, I'll join other Microsoft leaders and discuss how this transaction will just do that, accelerate phone share. We'll discuss how greater success with phones will strengthen the overall opportunity for us and for our partners to create a family of devices and services for individuals and businesses that empower people around the globe, at home, at work, and on the go, for the activities that they value most. In the months ahead, there's a lot of work and planning to do as we await for final approval. First and foremost, we will continue to build and ship phenomenal phones together that delight our shared customers around the globe. We'll also begin integration planning worldwide. Microsoft has always valued the diversity that comes from having a major presence in many different countries. Today in Europe alone, we have more than 12,000 employees serving customers and doing groundbreaking research and development. We so look forward to welcoming the strong contingent that will join us here in Finland and in many other countries around the world. Finland will become the hub and the center for our phone R&D, and we're counting very much on the incredible talent in Nokia employees to be a key part of driving and propelling Microsoft forward. We have meetings scheduled in the next days and months to really review this with the employee base and teams here in Finland, in San Diego, in China, and elsewhere. We have no significant plans to shift around the world where work is done. We want it done where it is done today. That approach has been very successful for us with acquisitions such as Skype, which has a large R&D footprint in Estonia, Navision, which is concentrated in Denmark, and FAST, which remains concentrated in Oslo. We're certainly deeply committed to Finland. Finland will be, as I said, the center of our phone device research and development work. We are beyond excited to have a strong and talented team join us in Finland with the expertise in hardware, supply chain management, operations, and more. We'll be very good corporate citizens here in Finland, and we will make new investments. Specifically today, we're announcing that we have selected Finland as the home of a new data center for Microsoft that will serve consumers throughout Europe. That will represent an investment of over $250 million in capital and operations over the next few years. Today's announcement is a bold step into the future. For Microsoft, it's also a signature event in our transformation. We think this is win-win for employees, win-win for shareholders, and win-win for customers of both companies. Through our partnership, we've already accomplished so much. And yet clearly the opportunity ahead is remarkable, and I'm incredibly optimistic about what we can achieve together. Microsoft and Nokia devices and services, we're after it, we're energized, and we're excited to pursue our common dream of success and innovation in smartphones. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Let me continue with Nokia's focus going forward. We have outlined how we believe our new financial strength will benefit Nokia and our shareholders in the future. I'd like to take you through how we are focusing our efforts. Clearly, Nokia looks very different without devices and services. We have three strong businesses centered around the theme of enabling mobility through our pioneering work in network infrastructure, location-based services, and advanced technologies. Each of these three businesses, NSN, HERE, and our technology licensing business, is profitable, and each generates a positive cash flow. These three businesses employ a total of 56,000 people. First, NSN, which is now a wholly owned business of Nokia, is the world's specialist in mobile broadband. NSN enables mobility by providing the world's most efficient and highest quality mobile networks. And they are pushing the boundaries by exploring new areas in 5G and LTE. NSN serves more than 600 customers in over 120 countries, providing sophisticated connectivity services to an estimated 2.5 billion subscribers. Customers like America Mobile, China Mobile, Deutsche Telekom, SoftBank, Telefonica, Verizon, Vodafone, and hundreds more. NSN is an excellent turnaround story after a difficult start for the merger. In the second quarter of 2013, NSN achieved underlying profitability for the fifth consecutive quarter and achieved 7 consecutive quarters of positive free cash flow generation. And in the midst of an intense negotiation period with Microsoft, we had the opportunity to purchase the remaining 50% of NSN from Siemens to continue to shape the telecom market for the future. At that time and at that valuation, we believe the purchase of NSN was and remains the right decision for Nokia shareholders. We will continue to manage NSN as a strong independent entity. Our second well-positioned business is HERE. HERE is enabling mobility through mapping and location services. We will continue to grow our location cloud through a broad offering across smartphones, other connected devices, enterprise solutions, and cars. HERE has mapped more than 190 countries and 43 million kilometers of road. But HERE is not just about navigating people from A to B. We are looking far beyond. We will connect the car to the cloud and provide exciting new real-time services to drivers around the world. Customers like Amazon, Audi, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Yahoo count on HERE every single day. And today Microsoft announced it will become a strategic licensee of the HERE location platform and will pay separately Nokia for this license. With our new financial strength, we will continue to drive HERE forward. Our third strategic business is advanced technologies. Nokia will continue to enable mobility through advanced research. We will explore areas in connectivity, sensor and material technologies, and web and cloud technologies. At the same time, we will continue to build our patent portfolio and expand our industry-leading technology licensing program spanning many technology areas. We have around 10,000 patent families comprising around 30,000 patents and applications. Of these, we have 1,200 patent families that are declared essential to communication standards with more than 40 licensees. We have a current annual IPR income run rate of approximately 0.5 billion euros. This is one of the broadest and strongest patent portfolios in the industry, with 2/3 of our current patents still being in force in 10 years' time. Each business, NSN, HERE, and technology licensing, holds a top 3 position globally in their respective markets. Over the next months, we will go through the regulatory approvals towards final closing. We cannot take closing for granted and will continue to manage all our businesses in an appropriate way. As part of this process, we have made changes in our leadership. Upon closing the transaction, Stephen Elop will transfer to Microsoft. To avoid the perception of a conflict of interest between now and the pending closure, Stephen will step aside as President and CEO of the Nokia Group, resign from the Nokia Board of Directors, and will become Executive Vice President of Nokia's Devices and Services business. He will continue to report to me. I will continue to serve in my role as Chairman of the Board of Directors. I will also assume an interim CEO role while we conduct a CEO search. We will be exploring both internal and external candidates. During the next months, my focus will be on the following. First of all, clarifying our strategy to generate further value for shareholders through openly evaluating all alternatives. Second, designing the right corporate structure to achieve the targets we set. Third, together with my colleagues on the Nokia board, we will focus on identifying the right person to assume the role of CEO of Nokia going forward. And fourth, I will focus on clarifying the capital structure necessary to execute our strategy in order to return deemed excess cash to shareholders. Timo Ihamuotila will become interim president of Nokia Group while continuing to serve as CFO. Timo will report to me. Also, Michael Halbherr will continue to serve as head of HERE, and Jesper Ovesen will continue to serve as NSN's executive chairman. Both Michael and Jesper will report to me until we conclude our CEO search. We will also review our board composition and assess the need for renewal as a result of a new focus. That summarizes our go-forward plan for the closing period, which aims to create new financial strength for Nokia. And as I said, rationally, the transaction is the right step for Nokia. But emotionally, this transaction is more complex. Nokia devices have connected people around the world for decades. In many markets, Nokia is synonymous with mobile phones. I have myself been using a Nokia device from the time they were too heavy to carry around. Since 2001, the company I founded and led as CEO for 18 years has been developing applications for Nokia devices. Nokia has meant a lot to me in all stages of my career. 15 months ago, when I was nominated to lead the Nokia board of directors, I could not foresee this particular way for Nokia to be reborn. So in addition to this being a complex decision for the board, it was a very emotional decision for me. So I believe today marks a day of reinvention for Nokia. With our strong corporate identity and our new financial strength, the Nokia team will build our next chapter. This is the beginning of the next 150 years of Nokia's story. Timo Ihamuotila, CFO, and our interim president of Nokia will now join me to go through the financial part of the transaction.
Thank you, Risto. Risto reflected a bit on his relationship with the Nokia and Nokia brand. And for most of us Finns and for millions of other people around the world, we can share our stories about Nokia. Now, I still remember the exact moment when I made my first cell phone call. It was 1984. I was 18. I was at a friend's summer house. His father actually worked for Nokia. And it was from a Mobira Cityman prototype, which had not been launched to the market yet. And the feeling was sensational. Talking to somebody, not from your home, not even from your car, but just where out in the open. Nokia mobile devices are an important part of Finnish and even global identity in many ways. But Nokia has been around much longer than the introduction of the mobile device, almost 150 years. And as Risto said, during those years, Nokia has defined itself by reinvention, from paper to rubber products to electronics and to a huge success in mobility. Today is another moment of change. When this transaction closes, Nokia will come through that change with a strong financial footing and with tremendous assets and talent. Let me now cover some further details of the transaction announced today, which we believe will bring additional value to Nokia's shareholders. This morning, Microsoft and Nokia announced that we will enter into a transaction whereby Microsoft will purchase substantially all of Nokia's devices and services business and enter into a related patent license agreement in a 5.44 billion euro all-cash transaction. This transaction includes Nokia's smart devices and mobile phones businesses, plus Nokia's manufacturing and sales and marketing operations supporting those businesses. It is expected that around 32,000 people will transfer to Microsoft, including about 4,700 employees in Finland. This includes employees in Espoo, Tampere, Salo, and Oulu. As part of the agreement, Nokia will continue to own and develop its patent portfolio and will grant Microsoft a 10-year license to our patents at the time of closing, with an option to extend that into a perpetual license. The value of the license part of the total transaction is 1.65 billion euros. Microsoft will also become a strategic licensee and one of the biggest customers to HERE location platform. Microsoft will separately pay licensing fees to Nokia for HERE. In total, this transaction is expected to significantly strengthen Nokia's financial position and will be clearly accretive, meaning clearly positive, to Nokia's earnings. As Risto said, Nokia's future business portfolio will consist of 3 businesses: NSN, HERE, and Advanced Technologies. And Nokia will continue as a global company. If the transaction was completed today, Nokia would be a company with annual revenues of between 13 to 14 billion euros and a talented workforce of about 56,000 people. Let's then take a look at the earnings potential. Using the first half of 2013 as an example, Nokia's underlying profitability was approximately 4% for the half. But on a pro forma basis, that is, if we assume the transaction would have closed, Nokia's underlying profitability would have been around 12% in the same period. So this transaction is expected to be accretive to Nokia's earnings, and it's also expected to significantly improve Nokia's financial position, allowing us to target to return to being an investment-grade company. Nokia's financial situation will be further enhanced by Microsoft immediately making available to Nokia 1.5 billion euros of financing. This financing will be made available to Nokia in the form of 3 500 million euro tranches of convertible bonds maturing in 5, 6, and 7 years, respectively. If Nokia chooses to utilize this financing option, the financing will continue to be available to Nokia even if the transaction announced today would not close. If the transaction closes, the outstanding bonds would become part of the deal proceeds at nominal value. This means in practice that Nokia would have received part of the transaction proceeds in advance, naturally paying the respective interest cost for that financing between signing and closing of the transaction. So we believe this transaction is good for Nokia shareholders. As importantly, we believe this transaction is good for Nokia's customers. For NSN customers, Nokia will be a strong company with a strengthened financial position targeting to be an investment-grade company. NSL will continue to invest in next-generation mobile networking technologies, serving its customers with productivity-enhancing, high-quality products. For HERE customers, we will continue with HERE's leading location offering across smartphones, other connected devices, enterprise solutions, and the car. And for the numerous companies that use and license technologies created and owned by Nokia, you can be sure that we are dedicated to further innovation and our licensing programs will continue. Then back to the transaction details. As Risto noted, this transaction is subject to approval by Nokia shareholders, regulatory approvals, and other customary closing conditions. The transaction is expected to close during the first quarter of 2014. In short, we believe this transaction brings value to our shareholders and new opportunities to our customers. And with that, I hand back to Risto.
Thanks, Timo.
Thanks.
There are also a number of opportunities for our devices and services employees whose work is transitioning to Microsoft. I would like to invite Stephen Elop to join me to share his perspective.
Thank you. Thank you, Risto. When I stood in front of you as the new CEO of Nokia for the very first time in September 2010, the sentiment in this room was a mix of curiosity about this new, non-Finnish leader of the company and hope that the fortunes of Nokia could be improved in the future. There was also a deepening and darkening recognition that Nokia had missed some important trends in the mobile industry and faced some even harder times ahead as a new course was set. In the last few years, we have made a series of difficult decisions designed to improve our circumstances. We pursued, for example, an aggressive restructuring and narrowing of the focus of NSN, resulting in a vibrant and profitable competitor in the mobile broadband and services business. We brought together the people and technologies in the area of location-based services to create what is now here, the number 2 worldwide contender in this space. We recognize the value in our intellectual property portfolio and proudly establish its value around the world against some of our strongest competitors. And, of course, we began a process of radical transformation in our devices and services business. While the decisions that we made and the forcefulness with which we made them will be debated for many years, there is no doubt in my mind that those actions are what have given us the opportunity to continue to improve our fortunes, our value to shareholders, and the security for our employees going forward. It continues to be an exciting time for our devices and services business. We have been building momentum around our Lumia products steadily over the past 4 quarters. We've continued to connect the next billion people with new advances in our mobile phones business. We have been going faster than Nokia has ever gone before. And as other manufacturers have fallen by the wayside or gone sideways, achieving our goal of becoming the third ecosystem is becoming very real. But we have to go even faster. We have to accelerate. We have some of the best products in the industry, but we need more combined muscle to truly break through with consumers. With this transaction, we can accelerate our current momentum and gain a stronger financial backing with which to be more successful in the mobile market. This provides greater opportunities for our employees and more growth in the future. Now, building on the steady growth of Lumia, this transaction helps Windows Phone and our devices increase share through faster innovation, better products, and unified branding and marketing. At the same time, it's good for Nokia's mobile phones business unit. Microsoft will acquire the Asha brand and will license the Nokia brand for use with our current mobile phone products. Microsoft can extend its service offerings to a far wider group of people around the world, while allowing Nokia's mobile phones to serve as an on-ramp to Windows Phone. For operators and business partners, our sales efforts get better. Sales and marketing activities can increase awareness of our products through a more aligned approach. We can attract more developers to create compelling applications for our ecosystem across smart devices and mobile phones. And, of course, Microsoft can benefit from Nokia's world-class sourcing and manufacturing operations and extend this expertise across its entire product portfolio. The people of Nokia have a tremendous amount to be proud of. We have transitioned through a period of incredible difficulty, and we are now delivering the best products we have ever delivered, while simultaneously having changed our culture and the way we work. We are a challenger, and as the news ripples around the world today, we will be recognized as an even greater challenger to our competitors tomorrow. Personally, like all people within devices and services at Nokia, I myself have to confront how I feel about this next chapter. I share the frustration that comes with being so far behind two very large competitors. I feel sadness because inevitably we are changing Nokia and what it stands for. What it stands for each of us, to Finland, and to our consumers. And of course, for all of us at Nokia today, there is ambiguity and concern because it is so hard to know what the future holds for each of us. And yet, there is a feeling of absolute resolve and conviction that we have to do the right thing so that our products break through, so that we can improve the job security for Nokians, and so that we can pursue a fresh sense of victory in the mobile phone industry. All of us want to win. As the leader of Nokia and as the leader of the people of Nokia for the last 3 years, there is no question that I feel a strong responsibility towards the employees and to the strategy. And therefore, I will continue to lead the devices and services team through the transaction with Microsoft and beyond. I am proud of what we have accomplished to date, and I look forward to continuing this journey. My final comments are directed to the people of Finland. Rightfully, everyone in Finland is proud of what Nokia stands for, and not just in the last 3 years or the last 30 years, but over the last 150 years. This pride has been a source of inspiration and strength to me under a wide range of circumstances. And I would like to thank everyone for both the support and for the challenging that is rightfully bestowed on the leader of this great company. While today represents yet another new chapter in Nokia's history, there are some things that will not change. Look around you. One of your friends, your colleagues, or even your family members is also someone who will be inventing the next mobile phone right here in Finland. So while some things will change, what will not change is that when you see a bright yellow Lumia 1020 in someone's hand anywhere around the world, know with pride that this device and the devices that will follow are the work of your friends here in Finland. Please continue to be proud and even more supportive of the people who themselves are so proud of what we do here in Finland. We remain here to win. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephen. And thank you for the audience joining via the webcast and both here in Dipoli. This marks the end of our webcast. We have here Risto Siilasmaa and Timo Ihamuotila to join for the questions and answers session. We have microphones here in the audience, so I would ask you to raise your hand, mention the media and the media that you represent, your name, and we will bring a microphone to you. Microphone number 1.
Yeah, my name is Petri Sajari from Helsingin Sanomat. The first question goes to Risto Siilasmaa. You were deeply involved in the beginning of 2011 when Nokia decided to go on with Microsoft. Could you a little bit tell me about your feelings at the moment? Was that the right decision or was it the wrong decision? Because we know by all the statistics which is available from the market that Windows phones cannot compete with iOS or Android at the moment. Thank you.
I can sympathize with the desire to look back over the last few years and find a point in time when a different decision might have led us down a different path. I sympathize with that desire. I believe that all the Nokia leaders who have done decisions have always done the best decisions based on the information they had at hand at that particular time. The fact is that the mobile phone market and the smart devices market has gone through a significant revolution over the last few years, with certain companies creating huge financial momentum and changed the playing field for others. Many companies have disappeared and some are facing difficult choices as we speak. Nokia has actually created positive momentum with the Lumia devices within the Windows Phone ecosystem. And with this transaction, we stand stronger financially with significantly accretive results to our earnings and the capacity to invest into the core businesses going forward.
Tässä vaiheessa voisin sanoa, että jos haluaa kysymyksiä, voi esittää myös suomeksi. Mikrofoni 3. 13.
Katja Rapeli from newspaper Uusi Suomi. A question for Mr. Siilasmaa. Could you comment the timing, why you are doing the transaction right now?
Oh, that's an excellent question. Let me tell you a little bit about the timeline of this deal. The process started when Steve Ballmer called me in late January, early February this year. We agreed to meet in Barcelona at the Mobile Phone Congress. And at that meeting, he expressed a desire to me to launch an open dialogue about a possible transaction. And I told him that we are not ready to do that. We want to first explore all possible avenues of making the current business relationship work between the two companies in such a way that both companies can separately be winners in the mobile marketplace. And we spent months and several meetings at different levels exploring how we can change the current relationship so that both companies could separately be winners. And only after that exhaustive analysis, we accepted that it would be appropriate to have a discussion on a transaction. And those discussions have gone on throughout the spring and the summer. Our board of directors has convened almost 50 times during this year, thinking through all the possible alternatives to a transaction, all the possible consequences of a transaction, within what parameters would be willing to consider a transaction. And today we are announcing the result, which is based on deep analysis, months and months of work, having considered all the alternatives. We know enough about the transaction, the possible other alternatives, the industry dynamics, to say that this is the right way forward for Nokia.
Microphone number 11, please.
Magazine Apu, Teppo Kuittinen. Considering your track record, why should we believe anything you say about the future? Are you going to sell here and patents as well?
Our track record that I just described over the past several months has been of a board taking a huge amount of time, the management taking a huge amount of time doing careful analysis of all the different alternatives and based on facts, choosing the right way forward. Not being hasty, being very careful, prudent and diligent on exploring different avenues. And we will continue to do so going forward, looking for the best solutions for our shareholders, for our employees, and also for Finland.
Can I make a comment? Yeah. So I would just like to make a comment that the new Nokia will be a strong European technology company with strong assets, as we said, 56,000 employees, and very strong earnings potential and balance sheet to invest forward on those three businesses.
Thank you. Microphone number 14, please. There.
Kati Pohjanpalo, Bloomberg News. Can you just clarify for us the brand situation? We understand that to begin with, the phones that Microsoft will sell would be called Nokia Lumias. But what about later? Will they be Lumias or can they be Nokia Lumias? Thank you.
Why don't you, Stephen, take that?
Yes, what Microsoft will be doing is, first of all, for mobile phones, for the feature phones, Microsoft has licensed the Nokia brand for a 10-year period. And so for many, primarily of the emerging markets and developing markets, that Nokia brand for the next 10 years will be available for Microsoft to use for those products. As it relates to smartphones, the Lumia products, Microsoft is purchasing the Lumia brand, and after a short transition period will themselves make decisions as to what the future brand of those products will be. The Nokia brand, outside of that licensing for mobile phones, will remain with Nokia. It will remain with Nokia here in Finland for Nokia to use in whichever way it makes sense for the future of the company.
Microphone number 12, please.
Okay. Egan Richardson from Yle News. Question for Mr. Elop. Risto Siilasmaa and Timo Ihamuotila both talked about their emotional connection to Nokia. I want to ask about your emotional connection to Microsoft. Do you have any feelings about going back to work there?
Well, in any of these situations, I certainly find myself of mixed thinking. On one side, you have a strong, rational, engineering-oriented, data-driven set of thoughts. And certainly as the board and myself have gone through this thought process, it's very clear to me that rationally this is the right next step for going forward. Emotionally, as I tried to describe in my prepared remarks, I think my feelings today are that mix of feelings as it relates to the possibility of pushing forward more aggressively and winning in this battle we have, while at the same time having a great deal of sadness about the changes that we're trying to introduce. Going back to Nokia for me is as much ambiguous as it is for many other people. It's been some years since I've been there. The organization has changed. There's many other changes underway. So I think for me as well, I look forward with some trepidation in understanding what that represents. So I think like 32,000 other employees, there's, what is really ahead. We have that still to learn.
We have time for one more question. So microphone number 13.
Jaana Vahtio, STT. I would like to ask about selling price. Some have already estimated that the selling price was too cheap. How do you comment on that?
Yeah, we feel that the price of 5.44 billion in cash transaction, again paid cash at closing, is of course a price which we see as a good price, and that's why the board is proposing to the EGM to approve the transaction. As the Nokia chairman said, we evaluated, of course, from my side as well on the finance part of the organization, many different alternatives, and have evaluated that this transaction price is a price which is very beneficial for Nokia shareholders.
Okay, short answer. Time for one final question. Over here in the front, microphone number 11.
Yeah, Petri Saer from Helsingin Sanomat. When Nokia made the deal with Qualcomm a couple of years ago, Nokia made a payment to Qualcomm which was over 1 billion euros. So what happened to that price actually when you are transferring that deal to Microsoft? So and you are telling us the net profit that you will get out of the deal. So is this over 1 billion euros included in the net so-called profit that you have announced in the press release?
Why don't I talk a little bit about the overall structure of the deal regarding the intellectual property rights. What is important here is that Nokia will keep all the patents and innovations what Nokia is licensing. Now the Qualcomm license is something what Nokia was utilizing in its current running business. And clearly if that business transfers to Microsoft, when the transaction or planned transaction closes, then it's natural that that license also will move to Microsoft.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Risto, and thank you, Timo.
Very good.
Thank you.
Kiitoksia kaikille osallistumisesta tähän lehdistötilaisuuteen. Lehdistöllä on mahdollisuus jäädä tänne tilaan hetkeksi vielä, jos haluatte jatkaa töiden tekemistä. Lehdistötilaisuus on nähtävillä meidän nettisivuilla jonkin aikaa tämän jälkeen. Kiitoksia.